Hello students, how are you all? So today we are going to start with a humorous poem, Have You Ever Seen? The poet name is not been revealed, so the word anonymous is being used. Okay, so now basically moving towards the poem like contains homographs also, same way it contains puns also. So before moving towards the poem, we will slightly look about exactly homographs means. Okay, so on the screen you can see homographs are the words that sound the same, are spelled the same, have a different meaning. Now here in grammar also you must have been studying homographs. So this is a slight small explanation about homograph. Okay, so in the picture you can see one instrument is there, like metallic instrument is there, that is saw. Okay, SAW saw. And same way another eye picture is there, that is also saw. It is a past tense of see. Okay, so in the first picture you can see a metallic instrument is there. Metallic instrument is used for what? Cutting purposes. Okay, anything like furniture and all you can cut. And second is what? Saw. It means whatever we are seeing, we see. The past tense of see is what? Saw. So moreover, we can say that homographs, they sound the same. The sound actually is the same. Same way they are spelled also. Spelled also they are the same. But sometimes they are having like different meaning. So one word, it is having the same sound also, same pronunciation also, spelled also the same, but it is having a different meaning. That is called as what? Homograph. This is what? Homograph. So we can say that this poem somewhat is related with homographic puns. To understand more about homograph, I have done the explanation over here. Now puns, okay, this poem is also blended with what? A pun. So what exactly is pun? A pun is a joke based on the interplay of homophones is there. Same homophones is also there. Homophones means what? Word with the same pronunciation but different meaning. It can also play with words that sound same. Okay, that sounds similar but not exactly the same. The joke's humor, if any, comes from the confusion of the two meanings. Okay. Now, moving towards the poem Have You Ever Seen is a brain teaser that uses pun. Many words in English language, more than one meaning. The poet himself has created an amusing effect by playing around with such words. Okay, so this poem, it consists of what? It consists of different small words. Like we can say it is a brain teaser. Okay, so the central theme of the poem, what exactly is the central theme of the poem? What the poem actually it consists of? So a very short explanation. The central theme of the poem is it is how English language have two meanings. Like English language, you can say it is a vast language also. It is global language too. So English language, it is having such words are there that one is having two meanings or more than two meanings. So in that poem, in this poem, we are going to see. So here, if they are not applied correctly, here the words are not applied correctly, the result can be humorous. So by giving the examples, the author tries to point out how the meaning of the sentence becomes vague, even if one word is misunderstood. Okay. Now see, the poem is all what I told. It consists of about puns, which makes it also humorous, but also urge us to think. One cannot help but wonder how words can be played in order to make things sound vague and interesting at the same time. It also makes a person think of other similar examples also. Okay, so when words can be used in that alternate sense of meanings, changing the understanding entire sentence. Like one word, it is having two meanings. One word, it is having two meanings. So instead of changing the word, the meaning itself is what itself is changed. Understanding, but here we have to understand the entire sentence. Now you're talking about the poem. Talking about the poem, the title of the poem is addressed to the readers. Okay, here the title of the poem. Have you ever seen itself? It is addressed to the readers. So after reading the poem, the author can be called as a person who is like the author himself, though his name is not revealed. Though his name is not revealed, but he is well versed in English language. Okay, he's very well versed in English language and vocabulary also. He's having like big vocabulary. So same way we can say that, and he's also very fond of making puns. So he is an observant of the language and wants to make his readers aware of his richness. So this poem basically it is blended with all mixtures like fun poem or puns or small punches also you can say. So your richness of the poem can be seen. Before starting the explanation of the poem, okay, it is very important for us to do loud recitation. Okay, I always think that before explanation of anything, if you read the content, if you actually read the content, you will be able to understand the thing very quickly. So here we are going to do very loud recitation, okay, which will help us to understand the poem with the equal ease. So here I'm going to do the loud recitation. You have to just listen it properly and carefully. Have you ever seen, have you ever seen a sheet on a riverbed or a single hair from a hammer's head? Has the foot of a mountain any toes? And garden hose. Does the needle ever wink its eyes? Why does the wing of a building fly? Can you tickle the ribs of a pantuful or open the trunk of a tree at all? Are the teeth of a rick ever going to bite? Have the hands of a clock any left or right? Can the garden plot be deep and what is the sound of the wave spark? So can you observe students here what it is written bed head, okay, toes hose, I fly. So you can say that the rhyming scheme of the poem is AA, BB, CC, DD, EE, FF because your rhyming itself come like bed, head, toes, hose. So the rhyming scheme, basically the rhyming scheme of the poem is AA, BB, CC, DD, EE and FF. So it will be very easy for us to understand also. And while you are writing the appreciation of the poem, it will be very easy for you all to write the appreciation. Okay, so now we are going to start line by line analysis of the poem. Now, first two lines of the poem. Here we are going to start. So on the screen itself, you can see students, have you ever seen a sheet on a river bed? Now see students, you can see in the picture, two pictures are there. First picture you can see where all water is there. Okay, in the river, sea, all water is there, obviously. So the first picture you can see all blue water is there. Okay, all blue water is there. And second picture, what bed is only there. Okay, bed is there. So here the poet actually he's trying to ask. Now one bed means what? Where the river flows. That is a river bed. Okay, where the river flows, that is a river bed. Same way, bed that is furniture on which we sleep. We are all having bed at our home. So here the poet actually is asking us question that like we put bed sheet on the bed. Okay, we are putting bed sheet on the bed to cover the mattresses. So same way do the river beds also, it covers some sheet. Okay, so by asking some questions, he doesn't expect us to answer. Here the poet is he's just asking us the question, but he's not expecting us to answer. He's just asking, like he's just playing with words and using clever puns to tickle the reader's mind and imagination also. He just is asking several questions, and you just have to remember that you just don't have to answer, but just as only you can say it as a fun poem. Okay, you just have to think about it. He's just asking you the questions, have you ever seen, and so on. You don't have to give answer, you just have to think about it. Moving towards another two lines. Now see in the picture, you can see a boy is there. Same way a big hammer is there. So here, what it is written on the picture, or a single hair from a hammer's head. Okay, now see, talking about another, these two lines. Now see, here what in the picture, a boy is there. Obviously on everyone's head, hair are there. Okay, irrespective if that the person is a bald, everyone is everyone's head is covered with hair. Same way, your same way, same meaning. Now head also here you can see the hammer. Okay, hammer, we can say that the topmost part of any object. Okay, say any object, the topmost part of the any object, here it is called as a head. So one head, obviously one head we can say that it is a human body part or a human or any animal. Okay, we also like having head, and on that also it is covered with hair. So here actually the poet is asking us, if we are having head, okay, if we are having head and our head is covered with hair, so why this hammer is not having hair? Why the head of the hammer, okay, the topmost part of the hammer, why it is not covered with hair? Why the hammer is not having hair? So here also he is trying to ask more and more questions, okay? But we don't have to take it very thinking part. We just have to take it as a fun. We just have to don't answer, but just relax and understand. Okay, we can think about it. We can think a lot. Yes, that is a point. Now here is a comedy part. That if we people, we are having head, okay, we are having head, we are having hair. So if another head is there, another any topmost part, why they are not having hair? So this we just have to think, just have to think on, and we just have to move towards another part of the poem. Okay, so same way here also, next two lines, here is what, going further we can say, has the food of the mountain any toes? Now here what another question, here he is trying to ask us another question. Let's see children, talking about foot, here one foot means what? See, in the one picture you can see foot. Okay, we are all having legs or we are having foot. Okay, on foot toes are there. Toes means what? The two most important fingers we can say, like fingers they are having on our hand, but legs we are having what? Toes. So these toes we are having. Same way foot means what? Your foot means what? The base of a mountain. So he is like He's making us confused. Now see, foot means here what? One foot is what part of human body, okay? Like I explained y'all, part of human body. One foot is what? Part of human body. Another foot means what? Like the base of the mountain. Base like in the mountain. Here in the picture, first picture, very first picture, you can see a big mountain is there. The downwards portion, the base of the mountain is called as what? Foot. Okay, where we are going for trekking, climbing, we can say that yes, we were climbing the foot of the mountain. We are starting when we are trekking and all, where anyone's trekking and all, we are saying that yes, we climbed from the foot of the mountain. So here basically foot of the mountains means what? The base of the mountain, the downward portion of the mountain, it is called as the foot of the mountain. And another foot is what? Our legs. Our legs is what? Like downwards portion. So both are having downward portion. Here the leg with the downward portion, it is also called as foot. And here the mountain, the base of the mountain is also called as foot. But our legs are having toes. Our legs are having toes. Okay, here also I have highlighted the part of the toes. But if our foot is having toes, why exactly the mountain is not having toes? Okay, so here he is asking us question and question, lot of question he is asking us, but he is actually making us confused. The poet actually trying to make us confused. So if we are having foot, we are having toes. So why the mountain is not having toes? Okay, and if he is having foot, then where are his toes? So this is the question he's asking. Has the foot of a mountain any toes? Like we human beings, if we are having toes, if we are having foot, so why the mountain is not having any foot, or he is not having the toes? So here he is like asking us many questions and trying to make us more and more confused. But as I told you all previously, that we don't have to think more about it. It is just small punches and small puns relating with the poem. So we don't have to think, we just have to enjoy. Okay, students. So moving towards further, now here it is what? Here it is written, and is there a pair of garden hose? So here in the picture you can see, okay, here in the picture you can see students, a garden hose, okay, a garden hose. You must also having same garden hose at your house, okay. So one hose means what? A garden hose. It also means that it is a flexible tube, okay. It is a flexible tube. You can say pipe also. In our language we can say pipe only. So this is what? A flexible tube that is used to water plants. Okay, it is used to water plants in the garden, etc. We are using, generally we are using this pipe, okay, to fill the water at our home and all. So it is having what? It comes in also different sizes. At home also we are having this type of pipes. It is having in different sizes also. And we also use it for what? Filling water at our home. At water we are filling now with such hose. So same way, this is called as what? Hose. Okay, most probably in big gardens also we are using, or at home also we are just putting that hose, okay, in our tap, and we are filling the water. At home also we are using some hoses, what? It is very big one, but some it is like very small, and it is also very easily, because it is like very big in shape. So it is very easy for us to like plant the trees, or if we want to plant any like water and all. So it is very easy for us to make use of it. So same way, another hose. Okay, now you have seen the meaning of one hose. One hose means what? A tube type of thing that is actually used for filling water and all, gathering purpose and all. So same way, another picture also. In the another picture, you can see it is also called as hose. But here hose is what? A pair of stockings or tights. Okay, a pair of stockings or tights. Here Now see students, whenever you are going to play like football and all, so like you are wearing such type of big stockings or like tights or pair of socks also, you can say. So here the poet is also trying to say that if another hose means what, this pair of the socks also, in very simple language, like instead of saying tights and all, stockings and all, in very simple language I am going to say it as a socks. So if these socks it is coming in a pair, okay, if these socks it is coming in a pair, then why this garden hose it is not coming in a pair? Okay, obviously a socks it always comes in a pair. We are not purchasing a single socks. Okay, students, are we purchasing a single socks? No, we are not purchasing a single socks. We are always purchasing a pair of socks. So if the pair of socks it comes in a pair means what, things of two, if this pair, if these socks they are coming in a pair, why garden hose, why this tube, it is, why it is not coming in a pair, or is there any pair, or we are not purchasing? So here also the poet, he is asking us question only, is there a pair of garden hose? So actually he is, I told you all previously, he is just making us confused and nothing else. Okay, so moving towards the another two lines of the poem, here you can see in the picture. Now here it is, what does the needle ever wink its eye? Okay, now here this picture also it is having two meanings. Okay, your eye, EYEI, that eye, all you, everyone knows we are having two eyes. Okay, we are having two eyes, but here one more meaning is there. Now students, we never knew that the needle, everyone knows that this is a needle. In the first picture only you can see needle, everyone is having needle at their home. Okay, needle and thread, everyone is having. And what we are like, our mother or like grandmother and any one like tailor also, he is actually making the use of the needle. For what purpose? For stitching clothes and all, we are always using needle. So here also in this picture, one picture it resembles what, it is trying to speak what, a needle it is having eye, but where is the eye? See students, you can see the thread, where the thread goes, that is called as a eye. Okay, the thread actually when we are inserting that small hole, it is called as what, that small hole we are calling it as a eye. Okay, eye from which we are moving the thread. Same way another picture. When you see another picture, an emoji you can see, okay students, that emoji, what he is doing? He's winking the eye. He's winking the eye. On the WhatsApp also students, you all are sending emojis to your friends and also all the relatives also. And this is what, this is like your favorite emoji also. When also you are cracking jokes and all, you are actually sending this emoji. You are sending or not students? So yes, so in the first picture, what it is, we can see the needle. Second picture, you can see the eye. Both the spelling is same, EYE. Both the pronunciation is also same. But here the meaning actually is different. Here eye meaning is different and here eye meaning is different. So the main thing what the poet is asking, that we are winking the eye. Winking the eye means what? Aankh marna. Okay. So here, if the emoji is winking the eye, so does the needle also wink the eye? Have you ever seen students winking like needle is winking the eye? No. The eye of the needle is constant. It is constant. It is in that shape only. But here, what in the another picture, or we are also what, we are also winking the eye. Same as like that of the emoji. Okay. So he is only asking question. So if we are winking the eye, if this emoji is winking the eye, if we people, or if we human, we are inking the eye, does the needle also wink the eye? Have you ever seen? So this is only small puns that actually makes the poem more humorous and more interesting. And after, like, we are in the middle of the poem also, students, but after this poem gets over, you have to think all this about it, huh? हम लोग को देखना है ध्यान से that if the needle is winking the eye or not. Okay, now moving towards another two lines. Here is what, why doesn't the wing of a building fly? Okay, why doesn't the wing of the building fly? Now here also wing. Okay, here also now we all know the building, but what exactly is the meaning of a wing? So now here also, now the building, talking about the first meaning, first wing. Okay, now see, the building is big. If the building is very big, it is converted into different sections. Okay, different sections. The building is divided into different section, like that of A wing, B wing, C wing, etc. Okay, building, like A wing is there, B wing is there, numbers also there, but some way, in some building, wings are there, A wing, B wing, like this. Okay, so why it is used, why the wing of the building is used? Because it is a naming given to the big building. Otherwise, it will create the confusion. So it means what? The wings here means different sections of it to recognize it. Okay, your wings means what? Wings of the building means what? It is divided into different sections so that we can like easily recognize. If we are saying that I do stay in building number 177. 177, then which wing? Yes, I am staying in B wing. Okay, B wing. So it will be easy for the addresser to actually like find out where we are staying. Otherwise, he'll directly come in the building number 177 where we are staying. He don't know. So same way, if we say that yes, building number 177, and that too B wing, then he will be able to actually understand our address. So here also, same way, another wings means what? External part of the bird that enables it to fly. Okay, now here, wings of the birds. Birds wings means what? Like we can say feathers and all, it is covered with all feathers and all. So we can say that external part of the bird, it enables us to fly. Without wings, the bird actually cannot fly. Okay, without wings, I guess no birds can fly. So here, actually, the poet is asking another question. He's saying that, see, birds is like flying with the help of the wings. If your birds are flying with the wings, why the building is not flying? Okay, why the building is not flying? Here, if the bird is having wings, it is flying. वो उड़ सकता है. Why building is not flying? Why building क्यों नहीं उड़ सकती? Same way, he is asking just questions. So knowingly or unknowingly, the poet is asking that if a building it is having wings, why does it not fly? Same way, if bird is having wings, it is flying. If both birds and buildings they are having wings, then why only birds fly and the building don't? So your students, you have to think more about it. Huh? In these holidays, you have to think about this, all these things. Why building is not flying? Why only birds are flying? If building is also having wings, while the building is not like having feathers and all, why it is not flying? It should also fly. All these things you have to actually think, and thinking enhances the richness of our knowledge. So more and more you think, the more and more you will become intelligent. Okay, so moving towards another two lines. Now see, here, can you tickle the ribs of a parasol? Okay, now see, your students, first picture, you can see the ribs. Ribs all you are having. the inner part of the body. Okay, your ribs means what? The inner part of the body. Everyone is having ribs in our body. And students, parasol means what? Parasol, it is like umbrella type of thing. Actually, we cannot say umbrella. A slight difference is there between umbrella and parasol. So umbrella, it is what? Umbrella has a curved handle. Okay, umbrella is having curved handle, and it is allowing for easy grip and storage also. And parasol, what? A parasol is a typically constructed from delicate fabrics, like in English movies also you can see, like the girls, they are like old English movies, they are carrying what? Umbrella. Japanese people and all, they are carrying an umbrella and all to protect them from sunlight and all. So here, umbrella and parasol, slight difference is there, not much difference. But see students, here you can see all metallic structure of the umbrella. Okay, here you can see in one picture, ribs are there. Okay, in science you must have studied up till what actually are ribs. You all know ribs. That is the inner structure of the body. Another what? Umbrella. So here both structure are the same. Here you can see the metallic structure of the umbrella. It is also somewhat resembles with parasol. So if a person tickles it, हमको गुदगुदी करता है कोई, so we are feeling like very uneasy. Okay, we started laughing. So if we are like, if anyone tickles us on the rib, okay, if anyone tickles us on the rib, on the stomach, we feel like very laughing. So if we are tickling to the parasol, parasol means what? Umbrella. If we are tickling the umbrella, do it also laugh? Do it also tickle? Just think, students, we have to think more and more, okay, about it. Or you can perform a small experiment type of also at home. So you're moving towards another two lines. Okay, another two lines is what? Now, here in the first picture, you can see a picture of a tree. Okay, in second picture, you can see a big suitcase type of thing is there. Okay, so your first trunk means what? Now, first we will recite the two lines. Or open the trunk of a tree at all. Now, see students, your trunk. Trunk is also having two meanings. Your trunk means what? Your trunk is a, like we can say, the thick external or central part of a tree that the branches grow from. Like upper part of the tree, you can see now from where branches grow. That is called as trunk. And here another trunk is what? See students, we are having now big suitcases at our home. We are storing, or we are filling all the things in it, like storage type of things we can say. So box type of thing we can say. So here also he is asking us, the poet is asking that if this trunk, like suitcase type of thing, if we are actually storing all the things, if we are into storing all the things, then why this tree type of trunk we are not storing? Why this only this suitcase, or why this trunk only can be opened? Why this tree trunk cannot be opened? Okay, now see students, in old times we used to have big trunks at our home. Okay, big trunks. When actually you will ask your grandmother or grandfather, they will answer about it. Yes, we used to have big trunks at home. And previously also at old times, people used to have these big trunks for what? For traveling purposes. So another big and quite interesting question to be asked, that if this trunk, if this suitcase type, if it is having storage, if it is opening, why this is not opening? Why this tree trunk is not opening at all? So here another interesting question. Just have to think about it. Nothing else. Moving towards another two lines of the poem. Now here, are the teeth of a rake ever going to bite? Now see, first picture, you can see big teeth. We are having all teeth. We are cleaning teeth. And why teeth? Teeth are very most important. Without teeth, we cannot eat nice things, students. So you have to take care of things like your teeth also. You don't have to eat many chocolates. We have to brush 2 times a day. Okay, just a small reminder from me. So here, the poet is asking that, see, your teeth, one teeth means what? Like we are having teeth in a mouth. Another teeth means what? Here a rake is there. Okay, now what is the meaning of a rake? So like I told in the first picture, you can see teeth. We are like it is used for chewing food also, and all human beings, not only human beings but animals also, they are having teeth in their mouth. Okay, with one set of teeth we can bite also. With bite also, one set of teeth we can bite. Same way, another picture, it also shows what rake. Now what rake means? Rake means what? A garden tool that is used with a, like that is used for gardening purpose, that is having a long handle and a row of metal teeth. Okay, this teeth, it is consist with what? It is covered with a metal, and it is used for collecting leaves. In some garden, if we will visit, you will see this rake, and it is making used for making the earth smooth. So moreover, we can say that it is used as a garden tool or equipment. Okay, and here also same question. If these teeth can bite, okay, why the garden tooth or the garden rake or simple rake, is it also going to bite? Okay, if I am asking that if we can bite, it doesn't mean, sir, students, that you have to bite. Otherwise, you will start biting. You don't have to bite. Small children, small babies, when they are having the teeth, okay, when the teeth, small teeth appears, they are also biting. So students, don't go and bite. This is just a fun-loving poem. We don't actually have to do the experiment. So here, the poet himself is, he is asking that if these teeth are biting, okay, if these teeth are biting, so these teeth must also be biting. So here he is asking, are the teeth of a rake also ever going to bite? Just think about it. Now moving towards the another 2 lines. Now here, have the hands of a clock any left or right? Okay, now see, did the like hands means what? Hands, you all know. Okay, hands means what? We are having 2 hands. Okay, we are having 2 hands. We are doing a lot of work, and it is very important part of our body. Hands are also very important part of our body. Without hand, we cannot imagine ourselves. Another hand of a clock means what? Which shows the time of a day. So if we human beings to have right hand and left hand, right? We are saying, now this is my right hand, this is my left hand. Okay, with right hand we are eating food and all, like this. So hands, we are having hands, 2 hands. So clock also, we are saying now, clock is also having hands. So here the poet is asking, here the poet is trying to ask us that if we can identify. Now see, clock's hands means what? Like the we can see na, kata, घड़ी का काटा, like घड़ी की सुई. So that is what, that is actually the hands. By the hands of the clock also, only we can understand the time in the clock. So here the poet is asking that, like we are having the hands, we are having 2 hands, one hand left, one hand is right. So does the hand of the clock also, it is having also left and right? Is the clock also saying, yes, this is my left hand, this is my right hand? Just have to think about it, as I told you previously. So moving towards another 2 lines. Now here you can see very nice picture. Okay, here also the poet, he is trying to ask us, can the garden plot be deep and dark? Okay, can the garden plot be deep and dark? Now see, very nice picture. You can see all the greenery is there. So here meaning of the plot is what? Here plot means a piece of a land. Here plot actually means what? A piece of land. You can see a piece of a garden or a piece of a land also we can call. We actually say it as a plot. It is filled with filled with full greenery in it. And it is actually used for what? For gardening purpose, for planting and all. And if plants are there, then all the plot, it is like into greenery only. Here, students, another plot means what? Another plot means like in movies also. In movies, you must have seen. Your plot means what? Planning. Okay, your plot means what? The your word used is for an evil or a wicked plan. In the movies also, na, they are making plans and all. So it is what your plot means what? Used for like a small plot used for what? Gardening purposes and greenery and all. And another plot means what? Wicked plan and anything evil behind it. So one word, one plot having two meanings. One is what? Greenery, and one is what? All evil wicked plans. So here also the poet is asking that if your plot is green, okay, so does this plot, this garden plot, it is having also any wicked plant? It is having also wicked plans also. They are making, like in movies and all, they are making some wicked plans and all, any darky plans. Here also is the plot making any plans? So here also the poet is not expecting answers, but he is just asking us more and more questions. Okay, so moving towards another two lines, and these are the last two lines, students. So here it is what? Now, and what is the sound of the birds bark? Okay, now here also, your bird's bark means what? Here in the first picture, you can see what? Tree is there. Okay, tree is there. So that is called as bark. Okay, bark tree, you can say this is bark. Like a tree is there, a small tree is there, like thin trees is there. That is called as a bark. Like we can say stems also, but thick stems are there. So that is what? Bark. Okay, and another your birch bark means we can also say in simple words that external part of the tree trunk. External means outer part of the tree trunk. And here another bark means what? You all know. A picture of a dog is there. And what is picture of the dog? What the dog is doing? Yes, he's barking. Barking, you all know. How does the dogs do? You all know very well. Okay. So here also another question, that if a dog makes a specific sound, okay, then does the bird's bark also make a specific sound? Does also it bark? So here also the poet is making us confused. Confused means what? By his punches, by small punches, he's actually making us to think. He's also making us to think. So here also, so here one bark means what? External part of the tree, and here one bark means what? Like kutta bhongta hai na? Same way. Same way in the picture also, see students, see such a big dog and how he's opening his mouth and barking. See how he's barking. He's actually making sound also. Can you hear students the sound? How he's barking, big bhaw bhaw he's doing. Yes. So same way, here one bark is what? External part of the tree, and here one bark is what? He's actually barking. Okay. So here this poem, it is actually very humorous poem. You have to think about it. You have to read aloud. Okay, unless and until you will don't read it loud, you will not be able to understand also. So just go through the poem, read it loudly, okay, and then only you will understand the poem very properly. And also one main thing, you have to make use of your brain and try and understand more and more about this poem and what exactly the poet has tried saying in this poem. So here I'm going to end my poem. Thank you so much for your presence, students. Thank you.